They're our daughters, our friends, and our neighbors. And they've begun to believe a lie that they have no value apart from a price that some people have placed on them. Human trafficking happens right here in our neighborhood, to young women from every social and economic background. But there is hope for change, there is hope for safety, and there is hope for a brighter future. There is SafeHope Home. Our hope is that one day human trafficking will end globally. Until that day, we are committed to providing help for those wanting to escape their entrapment.
We are so honored to have Larry Shanks on our show. Larry, thanks for being here.
Hi, Lori. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, I mean, we know each other a little bit,
We do.
but I want you to tell our viewers a little bit about Larry, because you've got a lot of history in business, right? But you're doing something totally different now. But tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, what you do, or what you've done in the past.
I've got 3 sons and 7 grandchildren, and I spent 30 some odd years in building materials, which is a far cry from what I do today.
Right.
And as you know, we go to the same church, and I was prompted to attend a mission trip 5 years ago. Right now, I was actually in India.
Right. And I've been to the same places in India that you have been.
And there's an organization called Mahima Homes where I had the pleasure of sitting and meeting with some of the young women that were in recovery from the trafficking, the version of trafficking in that country.
Yes.
And as we've spoke about before, it basically tore my heart out, and the vision of SafeHope Home started there. And a group of people moved on.
Larry, I see you, and I just love your heart. Can I just say, you are rebuilding people's lives.
We are.
That's what you're doing. And, you know, it's such a wake-up call to many of us to understand what is happening in Canada. Like the sexual exploitation, sex trafficking in our country. So many people think it's far away or it's just a small group. Can you help us understand? I mean, you had this vision to start SafeHope Home. You're inspired by our friends in India to do this. Why on earth would you think you could tackle this kind of thing?
Well, you have all kinds of doubts in the beginning, but sometimes in life you just know you have to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I had no idea how.
Yeah.
And we formed a group of 3 or 4 people, and we started the initiative. And quite honestly, before I did that trip, I had no idea about the prevalence of trafficking in Canada. But after coming home and researching it a little bit, I realized how prevalent indeed it was and how young these girls are.
Tell us a little bit about that, because some of our viewers might not understand some of the numbers behind this, some of the, you know,
the true numbers aren't really known because it's a very hidden crime. But in Canada, 69% of the young women trafficked in this country are in the province of Ontario.
Wow.
And 85% of that 69% are in the GTA. Oh. So it's a big number in this area, and there are actually more young women trafficked in the GTA than there are in New York City.
Really?
So if you do that comparison of population, and they get something like 80 million tourists a year there too. So there's something awful wrong in the GTA.
This is a wake-up call, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, Canada, we cannot stay asleep on this matter. And I know in our show, we've been talking about this for a while. That's a lot of girls at risk, girls and boys at risk.
Mostly girls.
Mostly girls.
It's almost all young ladies, and the ages are between 12 and 16 that are the typical targets, 14 being the average. And what I didn't realize too, because we have preconceived perceptions of these things, so I really believe that people in prostitution were there by choice.
Right.
The vast majority are not. I mean, it's a very small number that are there by choice. They're trafficked, coerced at a very young age by an older man usually, and groomed, and then they're in the sex trade before they realize it.
That is very helpful, Larry, because I think it also enables the average person to look at life differently and look at people differently. When you see someone on the street, don't come with those, ideas about why they're there. So we need to break down that, that idea that they just want to be doing this.
Exactly, and they come from all economic demographics.
Right,
I mean, it's not, they don't all come from really bad backgrounds. Some do, but some of them come from very good, well-established, great families.
Well, we can't get into all the reasons why they choose to go into it, but your Safe Hope Home rescues them out of it. Tell us what the role of Safe Hope Home Ministries is.
Safe Hope Home gives them an opportunity to basically rebuild life. When they come to us, they really believe that they are worthless and have no value, and our first job is to get them into therapy, get them into a friendly, safe environment when they start to realize that they still have the same value they were born with.
Yeah, that's so good.
We go through, none of them have high school generally, very few of them. And we go through the process of getting high school credits. Right now we have 2 young women in university now.
Wow, that's amazing.
After all this time.
That's amazing.
And advancement of life, basically. We rebuild life, teach them budgeting and relationship and everything you need to build character into a person and give you a life and a future.
I love when I looked on your Safe Hope Home, what's the .com? .com.
Yep.
When I looked on the website and was looking, I just love how really it's well thought through, system and steps for these girls to take.
Yes.
And I just so appreciate about that. Some of them, we look at this problem as this is just far too great for any one person. I'm sure you feel that way at times.
Yes.
But there has been, every day, there has been a collective, what I've noticed with Safe Hope Home is it is brought awareness, and now there's many churches and individuals involved, right?
There are.
But how can we become more involved in this? What can the average person do, even in light of this epidemic and problem, even in support of Safe Hope Home? What would that look like?
We love the support. We're always looking for volunteers and things like that. Financial support is always welcome. But I think the biggest thing people can do, yes, we love the support, but build awareness.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to do what I do.
Right.
But I think just spreading the word about this, letting people know that this exists, protect their families, teach their daughters and learn themselves what to watch for.
Right. What are things that we should watch for?
It's usually a change of attitude first. Coming home with clothing that you didn't have before or jewelry you didn't have. Protection of their boyfriend, saying, because there's obvious doubt that people get from certain people. And it's really a gradual change, but it can be, if you don't watch for these things, the day will come where she's just not there.
Right, and maybe they've shifted friend groups, and maybe they're hanging out with an older guy, some of those things, right?
It's usually isolated to the guy. The friends basically disappear.
Right, that's a really good point. So these are things, parents and those of us who have, youth in our lives, we need to pay attention to this.
Absolutely.
I so appreciate your work of Safe Hope Home. I know that, you left the building to now rebuilding. And we need to all be part of helping to rebuild people's lives. So I thank you for what you're doing. And if there's practical ways people can help, you're looking for expanding this ministry too, right? To more homes.
We are. We need another home. We're at capacity. We've been that way for quite a while now.
Okay.
We have a waiting list, and there's a lot of other things that are needed out there to support these young women. But we need to grow. There needs to be a lot of these.
Well, SafeHopeHome.com. check it out and just actually pray and ask God how you can be involved. But we all need to be in this together to create awareness and to look for those who are living in this broken state, because there's help, right? That's the hope,
There
right,
is hope.
Larry?
Yeah.
Safe hope. There is hope and help. And now this is how Jada's horrific story has become her tool for helping others.